Hi there, and welcome to either the Uke Stuff channel or the Tech and Music Ed channel. Today we're going to do the full review for the Van Gogh. It's the VGD611 piano. I'm going to hold it up here because it's not connected to anything. This is what it looks like upside down because I'm about to play it, but you can see it has various ports there. You have the logo of Van Gogh there, and then the keyboards there. Now again, if you are an ukulele player, you may be wondering why this is on the Uke Stuff channel. Van Gogh made a ukulele that I recently reviewed, and this is another product in their lines, and it might be of interest to some people, so I wanted to share it there as well. If you don't know me, my name is Chris Russell. I'm a music educator and also a blogger and a vlogger, so to say, in the areas of technology, music education, and ukulele. So with that all said, let's talk about this keyboard a little bit. It was a surprise to me. Van Gogh reached out to me, asked if I'd like to review it, and as it's connected with technology, music education, I said sure. I didn't know what I was getting, and when I unboxed it, I was unbelievably delighted to find out that it is a Bluetooth low energy MIDI keyboard. Now I have a couple other MIDI keyboards. I'm going to pull them out here and let you see what they look like. Here's the first one. It's an Akai or Aki, I'm not sure how you actually pronounce that, but it's a little mini controller, 25 key LPK. I've used that a lot over the years. And then I also have this one, which I really like as well, the very thin travel key X Key Air by CME. This one was great to travel with in a bag, and in fact, I still absolutely would. This is Bluetooth low energy as well. The other keyboard, the 25 key Akai, is not. This one is Bluetooth low energy. The Akai model, the 25 LPK25, is not. This one is, and that's really awesome because you can connect to your MacBook, should be Windows now, should be Android now, and especially iOS devices, which is where I work. Most of my work is done on iOS or Mac. You can connect wirelessly to it, and it just is wonderful not to have to deal with cords. It's instantaneous and other things. So this has been my workhorse. But if you want to set up a studio at home or what else, this 25 key layout may not be enough for you. In fact, for many musicians, it would not be. And that's where something like this comes in. Now, X Key Air does sell longer versions of this, but they do get quite pricey. And I can't remember the exact price, but I think this one sells for about $200. So it just gives you an idea of what that technology costs. Now, with this keyboard, um, you get a couple of things, just like the CME keyboard. There is no sound that comes out of it. That's just a controller. It just controls your device. It isn't really a keyboard. This one is a keyboard. It does have speakers on it. So therefore, when you turn it on, it does play. So I'm going to just turn on the button here, and I'm going to play a little bit. It's not fantastic sound. It's not super duper sound, but that's not really the point. The point is to be able to play and hear what you're doing. If you wanted really great sound, you'd go to another instrument. That's not the focus of this instrument. Now, could someone use it to learn piano? Absolutely. The keys are not weighted, so that may make a difference to you, but they are full-size keys. Whereas, for example, the CME is a very full-size key, but not in terms of travel. And then, of course, the 25 key controller is super small keys with super small travel. So with this one, you get a full-size key, 61 keys to work with, which is more than generally you're probably going to need most of the time with the work that you're doing. With that in mind, I wanted to show you a couple of things what you can do with this, and then I will review my notes of my positives and negatives about the instrument. This is a little different format than my ukulele reviews, but that's okay because it's not an ukulele review. So the first thing I wanted to do was to show you how to connect this device to a MacBook. So let's do that. First of all, I'm going to open up a search tool. Now, if you are a Mac user, I can't help you if you're Windows. I could if I spent some time with it, but I don't actually own any Windows devices personally. My son has a Windows for gaming, but I don't want to take it away from him so I can do this video. But if you want to search for something on a Mac, it's really cool. You hit Command Spacebar and you can search for just about anything. And that is not totally showing in the window right now, but if I type MIDI into the system, it'll pop up with the very first thing I need, which is the MIDI control panel. And what we want to do is to go to, I think it's Command 2 Yep, I'll bring this window down. Command 2. Now you can't see it on the screen, but on the very, very top, there's also an option of MIDI Studio, and that is where you can connect to an instrument too. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have to put on my glasses. Sorry about the glare, but I'm going to have to put on my glasses to see things. There is a little MIDI icon. You just press that guy, and you choose the device. And this one shows up as GZUT-MIDI. Yours might show up with a different name. You click connect, and you're connected. That's it. If you notice, these lights now went bright. Now I can go to any software and use that. So my number one software program that I use on my MacBook and on my iPad is Notion. And you can't see the whole screen here, but I'm just going to create a new score. I'm just going to do a basic score of piano. And I'm going to exit the score setup. And what I want to show you is that it just is automatically set up. Now, I'm going to bring the bottom of the screen up a little bit so you can see the toolbar down here. Now, right now, it's going to be set up so that as I play, it's going to put in quarter notes. And watch what happens. Actually, I'll bring the top of the screen down too so you can see that too. Sorry, just working for the first time in this format. So this is step entry. And now whatever note I play is going to be locked in. If I play a chord, that will show. If I do fast, sometimes notes get lost. But that one got them all. And if I want different notes, I can change things different ways. I can choose, for example, the half note, and it'll put in a half note. The other thing I can do is I can record in real time, and that's going to depend on the tempo. But if I take us out of step mode and I hit record, this button right here, it's going to give me a count off. And I'm going to turn up the volume here so that I can hear the click really clearly, but watch this. All right, I'm going to hit stop. And you can see that Notion tried to figure out what I was doing. There is something called quantization that you can use that will actually help a program like Notion decide what's your shortest note and help you play it. But then when I play it back, it's going to sound like this if you can hear it. And there's where I was playing with the keyboard. You can tell it's recording volume data as well. By the way, you can go in there and clear out that volume data so that it doesn't all come as one volume. Now also, as I'm playing here, I'm hearing it. I can actually turn down the sound coming out of the piano so it's just coming out of the computer, and that would work too. Now there are a couple other things I wanted to show you here really quickly. I'm not going to save this. And you can see I have the Amazon ad loaded here for this keyboard, the Vangoa VGD611, selling for $149.99 with Prime and free returns. They're in stock. But let me pull up Google Chrome. And I'll try to bring the screen down so that we can put it all within this window here. The other thing I wanted to see is that you can actually use web-based programs as well. So I'm going to pull up Noteflight, which I have a subscription to. Let it log in, and I'm going to create a score. I'm going to pull the side over here too so you can see everything here. All right, so I'm going to create a score, and I'm going to let it just be piano. And I've got a lot of toolbars going up here, but you can kind of see what's going on. I'm going to click in here, and then watch this. It's recording quarter notes. So I can use the keyboard to interact with a web-based program like Noteflight as well. That didn't used to be possible. That has changed in the last few years, and it's actually been a while that it's been that way. So I am attached, again, no strings to the computer, and I'm able to play in those notes and record like that. That's pretty nifty. Let me show you one other option. I can leave that. That's not a problem. Oh, I want to go back to Google Chrome. File, new window. I'm going to go to Flat.io. Flat.io is another online music program. I want to show you how this one works. It's a little different. You can see I already did a Vangoa test just to make sure that it works, but I'm going to create a new score or new tab. I'm going to call this test 2. I'm going to continue with it, and I'm going to use a keyboard right here, grand piano, and create. Now, if I play in here right now, you probably won't see anything happen. It actually worked. Last time I had to go up here, this little icon right here, and tell it to use the Bluetooth keyboard, but this time it attached automatically, which is pretty cool. Now let me show you this device. This is my 12.9-inch iPad, and we will show you how this is going to work. I'm going to record my screen so you can see what's going on here. And here's how this is going to work on my device. And as I'm recording here, I'm going to open Notion. Notion is the program that I do most of my composition and stuff on for ukulele and other things. But I'm going to choose here. Let's do treble clef and continue. And then if I want to, I can add other things, but a single staff will work for what we're going to do. And if I play something, it's not recognizing anything. I go down to this bottom button here, which the gear icon is on, and there's a thing that says Bluetooth MIDI devices. And when I select that, I can find at the very, very bottom my GZUT MIDI. Select that. It's going to connect. And now watch what happens. And I can record in real time here too. So let's see, I want to make sure that I'm going to get my metronome on, start recording. 2 beats of entry. Hit pause, and it's going to record. Now, you can see I could do a better job with quantizing that rhythm and telling it where the smallest particular note value is. But again, I'm connected to my iPad without doing anything. Now, let me open up GarageBand for you as an example of a digital audio workstation. Now, of course, it would work the same way, for example, like GarageBand or Logic Pro on your computer as well. But here I have a piano that I pulled up. It's recording right onto the iPad, and I can record a sequence with that. And I'll just hit stop. And when you play it back, you do have to deal with the inaccuracies of being human and your own piano skills and so forth. But you can do that with all sorts of instruments. So you can even choose another instrument, such as a string instrument. You're suddenly playing strings. So that's kind of fun. Or you can choose even more instruments yet. Here's a guitar. Hard to play guitar chords though on the piano. Sort of thing. So there's great power in Bluetooth MIDI. It's something that I love, and it hasn't super taken off, which I don't understand. You think more people would want that freedom with their instrument and with their ability to do things. Now let's get back to talking about this keyboard in general. So it is a 61 key keyboard with full-size keys that have touch sensitivity. That's all nice. And the battery is supposed to last 12 hours, which is amazing, and then you're not having to replace AA's or C batteries. The Bluetooth MIDI, you know I'm a huge fan of it, and it should work on Android and Windows too. It has an internal speaker, and some people have complained about the sound of it, but remember that internal speaker is just that you can hear. It's not for performance. If you export through the audio jack, which is actually just a 1/8 inch or 3.5 millimeter jack, then you'll get a better sound. But ultimately, that's not the intent, at least in my mind, of this piano. That's not who this piano is for. It comes with a case, which is a nice addition. So you have some place to store it and keep dust out of the keys and everything else. It comes at a pretty great price, $150. And again, I was talking about how this keyboard, which is rechargeable, the CME X-Key Air, which is different. It's a travel keyboard, which is a little different, but still, this one is $199 without some of those other features. This one also has some other keyboard features as well. So you do have the ability to record yourself as you play and then to play it back. You can change the sound. It's a little hard to navigate which song you're on and so forth, but it's there. You can adjust the volume. You can adjust the tempo because you can add a sort of like a metronome in what you're doing. It also has the ability to sort of make it a drum set if you want to do it. Now, those are all things that aren't things that I'm going to do, but that you might want to play with as well. You also get the charger and the cable. And in today's world, having a micro USB available is not a big deal. Those are still plentiful out there. However, it is nice to have it included. There's also a foot pedal included for sustain, which I don't use very often either. Okay, there are some negatives about the instrument. First of all, the control panel is really hard to read. That isn't a end game for me because all I have to do is turn it on and the Bluetooth MIDI works. So that's a benefit. It is a little tricky figuring out where the volume button is because the volume buttons are switched. The positive is to the left of the negative, where usually it's stacked the other way. And I guess you could call that a negative too, but you just have to know where it is. And I've actually had to look at the manual and try to figure out what all the buttons are because they're just really hard to read. That blue on black is really tough. Kind of wish that it was white on black and then it'd be easier to read. Another negative is that there's not a 1/4 inch output jack. You have only the 1/8 inch or 3.5 millimeter jacks on the back. So that is kind of a negative if you want to hook this up to a larger amplifier. When you turn it on, if you've turned the volume down for a reason, it comes back on with its original settings at its original volume. I wish it kind of remembered the volume, but it doesn't. That said, I also wish it had a physical volume dial so you could manage that a little simpler. I would like to be able to control volume without the beeping. So when you press the button, it beeps. In fact, I'll show you that. I'll turn it on. And here is volume up. Make sure you guys can see it right there. There is volume up. And when I do it, it's going to beep louder and then softer until you get nothing. Now you do get the audio feedback of the beep of how loud it is, how loud the keyboard is going to be, but that's kind of a bummer as well. For some people, the keys not being weighted is going to be an issue, but in that case, you'd be looking at a keyboard that costs much more than this. And then the other criticism that I've seen is that it doesn't come with a holder for music. There's not a sheet music holder. So if you buy this, you're realistically going to want a keyboard stand and, in addition, probably a music stand of some kind. So that's pretty much all I want to say about this keyboard today. There are a couple other functions on the back. You can feed in a mic or an MP3. It does have, again, a jack for a sustain and for a headphone or a set of headphones if you want to listen to. Again, the Bluetooth MIDI on here isn't meant to wirelessly connect to headphones, Bluetooth headphones. That's not what the Bluetooth here is about. So there it is, the Vangoa VGD611 from Vangoa with touch-sensitive keys, Bluetooth low-energy MIDI, rechargeable battery, and a speaker. I think it's definitely worth looking at in terms of music technology, and again, some of you people that play ukulele might want to check out one of these too. All right, thanks for watching the video. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.